All right, welcome back to the IOI podcast. Today, I got a new guest on today. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
My name is Rami, and I met Adrian
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
on Instagram, and I am, people who know my photography don't know my actual background, but Adrian knows that I'm a photographer on Instagram, specifically a moon photographer. My background is actually I am a dentist, and
Oh, really?
I teach full time at a
Damn.
dental school.
Oh, damn. That's cool. So this is just kind of like your side thing, then, right? With the moon?
It is kind of a hobby,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
It is basically a hobby, but I kind of worked a lot on it,
yeah,
developed it, and I put a lot of feelings in the work because I liked what I do. I like doing that, and I found that it's been growing well, and I just do it, and it makes me really happy to do it.
yeah. Because I seen that complex, that news rate, not news kind of thing on Instagram. They're a big page. They shared your stuff, and that's how I became aware of you. And I was like, damn, that's a good picture. And let me check this guy out and see what he got. And I seen you had like all kinds of different stuff with the moon. So that's what your main thing, right? With the moon, right?
Yes, that's correct. And my story with Complex, I got a lot of followers from them, and they feature my pictures, once a month, once a month or every 2 months. My story started with them when they shared one of my pictures, but they shared it from somebody who took it from me on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
So somebody took that picture, posted it on Twitter, and it went viral.
Really?
I remember it had 100,000 shares or something like that, and I was
Damn.
not credited for that. So a lot of tertiary credit was going to that guy, and then I've been, every post, and unfortunately it does happen, and I got used to it.
Yeah.
On every post, I start getting people sending me that, oh, this is sharing your picture, this person sharing their picture, and a lot of people do that, and I don't pay attention. But I got someone telling me, oh, Complex shared your picture, and great, but I did not get the credit the first time.
Oh, shoot.
So I contacted them. I told them, can you give me credit? I emailed, tried to reach out to them. Nothing happened. So waited a couple days, and it kind of hurt me. I remember on Instagram when they shared it, they got about 300,000 likes on that picture, and I was like, I did not get credit for that,
Yeah.
and I reported that post. Unfortunately, I had to do it, and Instagram took the post down, and then Complex realized that I tried to contact them, and then they said sorry about that. We would like to feature more pictures, and then we had a very good relationship afterwards.
Yeah.
And other than Complex, I had quite the two biggest pages that shared my work were Puberty and Memes are. So I got thousands of followers from Puberty and Memes are as well.
Damn, that's pretty cool, man. So they just kind of just found your picture from through other people sharing it, and they just kind of put it on there and be like, "Hey, this is some cool stuff. You got to check this guy out," kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, and I was I consider myself lucky. It took me 5 years to get there,
Yeah.
to get quality content that would go this viral. But yeah, it took me some work, and with some luck. One thing on social media to grow, you have to keep posting content consistently
Yeah.
with a standard, with a consistent standard, and and that was one thing that I've been working on, because even if you have good content, also you have to post at a specific time of the day. You
What
know,
time do you fit? You find that works best?
well, in the East Coast, the peak time here in the East Coast, the peak time is 12 noon. So the ideal time to post is 3 hours before your peak time.
Okay.
So you have to look on your Instagram. You can look at the insights, see where your audience at, And depending on the type of quality, depending on the type and quality of your content, it can still go viral with even whatever time of the day you post it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just from like the shares and everything.
Yeah, let me turn on the light
Yeah,
above
yeah.
me because
Okay, go ahead.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so
how did you start getting into all this then?
well, I was in California in 2015, and I wanted to learn photography a long time ago. I finished in 2015. I finished one of the programs I was studying here in the United States, because my background is I am a dentist. I was a dentist back in my home country
Hmm.
in
Where was that?
Lebanon. In Lebanon, and that's where I'm from.
Oh, damn.
And then I finished the program, and I had about 3 months of break, vacation. I was doing nothing. And I always had a goal that I wanted to learn photography. I wanted to be a photographer. So I took few online courses, and one of the online courses was on Udemy. Um, and the name of the teacher is Phil Ebner.
Hmm.
His course actually, I think the advice that I got from his course took me where I am now. And his advice, photography is like driving a car. You have to know the settings of the camera, and you know the shutter speed. There are basic stuff for photography, but then there are types of photography too. And Phil said an advice which was, find a niche in your photography, something that you really like. Go out there, try stuff. And so I did that. I bought a camera. When I graduated from my program, I got an award, and there was like a monetary award for $1,500.
Damn.
So I used that $1,500. I bought a camera and a lens. I remember it was a Canon T6S and a 135 millimeter lens.
Oh, shoot.
So I bought that lens, and it had a range. It has a range from 18 millimeters to 135. So you can go really wide, and you can go really zoomed in.
Yeah, yeah.
So I bought that camera. I went to the started shooting outside. And one time I was shooting, and the moon was rising.
Hmm.
And I took a picture of the moon, and that was my first picture. I still have it until today. I'd like to show it to you if that's okay. I have
Yeah,
it
yeah.
right here.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Let me see it,
And
man.
this was that picture.
Oh, damn. So that was your very first one, huh?
That was my first picture of the moon. And then I was like, I felt a weird feeling about this picture,
Yeah.
and it made me really happy. So I zoomed in really close to the moon, and I snapped another picture. And because of the zoom power of the lens, there were a few of the craters showing.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
was
So
like,
you can really see that.
and I was like, I want to see more of that. So I started, whenever I got an opportunity, I got a bigger lens and a bigger lens and a bigger lens, and until I got a telescope.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and that's how I progressed. And then with every picture, you put a different feeling. I have, if you go to my profile, I have all the pictures. Like, I archived some pictures because I wanted to keep my theme of my profile concise. But I also, I left very, very old pictures that had nothing to do with the moon, because I
Yeah,
wanted to have like a timeline of how I progressed and how
yeah,
I
yeah.
transitioned into the moon photography. And I wanted to do astrophotography, but other types of photography requires a lot of time. A
Hmm.
lot of time. Astrophotography is an extreme type of photography, and usually astrophotographers use lunar photography as an introduction. and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
they move on into other types of photography like planetary, deep sky, and those sorts of things. So I did a lot of planetary, I did a lot of deep sky, I did Milky Way, but the Milky Way you have to drive really far to,
Where'd you have to drive to?
well, in California I had to drive at least 2 hours
Damn.
to Joshua Tree. Here, I have to drive to Shenandoah Valley in Virginia, which is 2.5 hours away. But it is dangerous. You need to have a gun. There are bears that might eat you in the,
Really?
the mountain. So I did not want to risk. I didn't want to risk my life doing that.
Yeah.
But because I have my career and I cannot go places, I cannot spend a very long time. Lunar photography, I tried all of them, but I stayed with lunar photography because I felt it was my happy place,
Yeah.
and I can do it right up from my front yard or backyard.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. So you could just literally take what do you got? What's your equipment that you use for it?
I have I have 3 telescopes,
Oh,
um,
cool.
and the one I use the most is my Meade Instruments refractor telescope. It's 130 millimeters refractor. Um,
So it's not like a big old thing.
it is 22 pounds, and then
Yeah,
there is the mount is about 25 pounds too. So the whole setup is about 50 pounds,
yeah,
and it's a simple setup. Lunar photography also, you don't have to align your mount very precisely.
yeah.
I just because celestial objects move,
What is that?
or basically the Earth,
Celestial.
celestial, the stars, the
Oh,
moon,
okay.
the sun, the nebula, the Milky Way, all these objects in the sky are moving because the Earth is rotating.
Oh, okay.
When you're doing your photography and you're pointing at a very far object,
Yeah,
you have to track it, or otherwise, you will lose the object in a matter of a minute or so.
yeah, because it's moving, right?
And
It's constantly moving up there.
yeah, and the other source of photography, so you have to track your planet, you have to track your moon, you have to track the stars. If you're taking a long exposure, the deep sky things that you see, the Orion Nebula, the Andromeda Galaxy, those pictures is not a like it's not a they snap the picture.
Hmm.
They point their instrument, their optical tube to that object, and it tracks. And they open the shutter, so it starts gathering light, and that they open the shutter. It can be 1 minute, so it would be you have to have a precise tracking for 1 minute or 2 minutes. Um, so so you basically are doing a long exposure to obtain the colors and the details that they're getting. So the other things that they take multiple exposures and they stack the images, and it's kind of a little bit you know a little bit difficult to explain. I use this method, the stacking method, also to bring up the details in my moon pictures.
Yeah,
um, but basically you have to track your object, and the tracker comes with a weight also. So you have to put your equipment out. uh, you have to align it in a specific way. Lunar photography is very forgiving in the alignment because the moon stays. You don't need long exposures of the moon. So when if I'm doing a very long exposure of the moon, like a lunar eclipse, the moon gets very dim. You need a long exposure.
hmm.
Then that would be probably the only time that I would align my mount properly to the North Pole, to Polaris, if I have to do a long exposure.
Yeah,
So and if you want to talk about stacking, which is one of my biggest things in my photography,
yeah,
is basically you take multiple exposures of the same pictures and then you align them, and using the software it will go through the pixels of those pictures, and then um, and then try to determine which one, based on a based on an algorithm which one was the most detailed, and then
Oh,
it would put pixels on top of each other to bring the details. And it's like if you have a stamp that has a little bit of ink. So if you stamp it the first time, it would be very faded. If you
yeah,
stamp it multiple times, it will show more, more and more and more.
yeah. Okay,
It, it,
that's a good
it,
one.
it's a very similar concept to that.
Yeah.
So that's how I bring the details, because most most objects are prone to atmospheric turbulence, and then you would see it through the video that it's clear, but when you take the picture, it looks blurry.
Yeah.
That's because of the atmosphere. So you do that method to overcome the atmospheric turbulence.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool, man. So when were you out there, I guess, this past week, because have you been seeing the moon? Like it's kind of been red lately, reddish orange, right?
hmm yeah, currently the moon is about 7 days old, and at that time when you see it, it is close to the horizon.
So what does that mean by 7 days old?
Well, there are cycles of the moon, and
Okay.
and it takes about 28, 29 days for this cycle um, to complete. And during this cycle, in the beginning of the cycle, the moon is in a crescent stage.
Mm-hmm.
So then you would see the moon very crescent. And during that phase, you would see the moon early evening, and soon afterwards, the moon would set
Yeah.
below the horizon.
Yeah, because you can see it like, okay, so like at midnight or 1 in the morning, I was, driving and I could see like the moon, like you said, it's just a little crescent, but it's like there's like a little flares of light of like red and orange, kind of coming from the moon. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yeah. If the moon is in a specific location in the sky, so you
Hmm.
have degrees in the sky, you know.
Yeah.
In the middle is the meridian. In the
Hmm.
middle, where it's like the highest, that's the meridian.
Okay.
On the sides, where it's like close to set or rise, this is called the horizon.
Yeah.
So between those areas, especially on the lower areas, you have zones where the because we have the atmosphere around us and it acts as a lens,
Yeah.
it causes some light phenomena with the sun, and it kind of because of the light of the sun, the optical phenomena of the atmosphere, probably I think it's called either diffraction or refraction, I don't remember, and the location of the moon, it reflects the light that way,
Oh,
and
okay.
you see the different colors. Now, if you're talking about the eclipse, it does turn red also because of the same phenomena, because the earth will be in the middle between the moon and the sun. And
Oh.
when the moon is right in the shadow of earth, the rays of the rays of the sun gets diffracted somehow, and you know you would see the red color. It's
Oh.
because of the rays of the sun gets through the atmosphere, and the different wavelengths of light causes that. And also throughout the phases of the lunar eclipse, you would see a blue color, and that's because of the ocean of earth as well. So
Oh.
it does,
Yeah.
this plays a role, in the colors that you see during the eclipse.
Yeah, like
Similarly, and when you see a new moon, where we're currently at, you would see it brownish to orange in color.
yeah, so like on the moon itself, is there like the color blue? Because like I seen on like like this picture right here, if you can kind of see it, there's like kind of
Yeah,
blue on there. What is that?
yeah. This is those areas are concentrated areas of minerals. If I remember correctly, the blue areas contain higher concentrations of titanium and magnesium.
Oh, okay. So
All
they're
right.
actually that the moon actually has those bright colors on there.
Not really. Not really. Here is why. When you see it with your naked eye,
Yeah.
you would see a little bit of brown and a very faint blue.
Oh, okay. So the
Okay.
camera brings it out.
Yeah, the camera sensor and the stacking and the increased saturation brings it out.
Oh, okay. That makes sense then.
Yeah, but to the naked eye, it is actually very subtle, very
Oh,
subtle.
just little tiny bits, like you said.
Yeah, some post processing brings it up, and people like it. People, the eye loves colors.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
If,
for
if
sure.
I post the best moon picture with no colors, um, it would just people will say, "Yeah, that's a good picture."
Yeah.
Yeah, the eye loves colors.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Because I like the one that I'm looking at right now too. This is the red and blue and white on it. What is that moon like? Where you said what is that
Th-
one?
This is during the lunar eclipse. This is the super blood blue moon
Yeah, yeah.
in January 2019.
Damn. What?
So yeah, so these colors that you see here are actually due to the phenomena of the reflection of the lights from the ocean and the reflections from the sun rays to the atmosphere and being reflected at the moon.
Oh, that's cool. So it's just reflecting all that color off that because it's just white. So obviously it's gonna reflect all them colors off there.
Because
Oh, it's just gonna reflect because all of them because the moon's just white. So obviously it's gonna reflect all them colors off of it.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I, I I really like the Jupiter and Saturn one you took too. You can see a little bit of them, just a little dot.
yeah, yeah. Now, for the truth, I disclosed that in that picture. That picture is a composite picture.
What's that mean?
So so when I was taking, if you remember, I broadcasted that live on my Instagram. I broadcasted about 1 hour, 1 hour and 15 minutes
Oh,
of,
damn.
of the event. It's the post right before the picture that you just showed me.
Oh, and you
So
were out there doing that?
yes. So this picture actually, to get these details, it was kind of very difficult. So I had to take separate videos of the planets and
Yeah.
different exposures to get the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, and then I took one picture of the telescope halo also. But that picture that you saw is a composite picture based on an actual reflection of what you could see during the event.
Damn. So you can actually see like Jupiter, Saturn, Mars like with your eye, but can you
Yes,
tell them apart from the stars when you're looking at them? What do you look
absolutely,
for? Like what do you look for?
absolutely. When I look at the objects,
Well, I mean, just for the people, like how can like someone know like that? Okay, that's Jupiter, that's Mars, rather than it's a star.
yeah, the easiest way now, from my experience,
Hmm.
from their brightness, I could tell you what they are.
Oh shoot,
From
damn! So you,
and throughout the year, that you would know when are they gonna come. For example, right now, if I show you, but I mean, I'm gonna make it simple for you.
okay,
There is an app that I use myself, and I don't get paid by them. It's called Star Maps 3D Plus. All right,
okay.
and this app here, really, if you point anywhere
Oh yeah.
during any time of the sky, it would tell you, like right now I can see the sun. It tells me, and Mercury is right next to it. Venus is right behind, and then there is the moon. So if you are at a high place today, okay, and you can see the sunset all the way, and right after the sunset you will see a super bright star. That will be Venus. All right,
Damn.
and then you'll see the moon a little bit above.
Okay.
The brightest star that you would ever see in the sky is always Venus. If it's super bright, this is Venus. Then
How come it's so bright?
because it's very close to Earth.
Oh, okay.
It is very close to Earth.
Damn.
Yeah,
So it's closer than which is it closer than Mars?
it is closer than Mars. Yes, it's way closer than Mars. I mean, I think we have Mercury, Venus, Earth,
Mercury, Venus,
then
Earth,
Mars,
Mars.
then I mean, this it's embarrassing that I can't. My memory is very bad, but I think that's the sequence,
Yeah, yeah.
and I think we have Jupiter, then Saturn,
Uranus and all them.
yeah, and then Neptune and Pluto. So
So
anyway,
how did
it's a little bit embarrassing. You probably want to take that out.
that's all good, man. Do you know like like so they say they're going to Mars, you know what I'm saying? So like do you think that Venus would be possible to go to as well?
I think it's too hot to be
Oh,
possible.
because it's too much to the sun.
It's too hot to be possible. I mean, heat is a number one source of things to break down. I mean, the first thing is like your car in a hot environment, your AC will, you know, heat and high temperature usually breaks down things, and and you don't want to go to extreme, with cold either, because nothing functions during super cold weather either.
Yeah, no
So
shit.
Mars is kind of the closest. Mars also has an atmosphere which is thinner than Earth also. So Mars has a higher possibility. That's why
Yeah.
they were investing more in Mars.
What do
Um,
you think about that stuff?
it is possible and it is doable.
Yeah, I mean
It
it's
is
really interesting.
doable.
I like that, that whole
It,
idea.
it is doable, but I think if we preserved Earth, it would be way better and easier than thinking to
Move
colonize
there.
another planet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
know what you mean. But I mean it'd be cool, just to be like a two species planet, you know what I'm saying? Like that'd be cool. I mean, because you get to see all these you get to see all these stars and planets and stuff, kind of when you're doing your work. I mean, you gotta kind your mind gotta kind of wonder, like what else is out there, that we can't even see with the telescope and everything, you know?
yeah. There are a lot of things out there, Adrian. A lot of things that that might make no sense to us, that are
Yeah.
too big for us to see. I mean, at this moment, there are probably galaxies eating each other.
Really?
Yeah,
How come?
there are, everything is not stationary in this universe. Our universe is expanding. The Andromeda galaxy is getting closer to us, and then there are galaxies that collide into each other
What
and
happens when
create.
what does happens when that does?
Well, I mean, and this is stuff that I heard or read before. And it collides. It causes a lot of cosmic dust and cosmic clouds and
Dude, that's
stuff.
weird.
So, you know, would I'm not a religious person, but if there might be other species out there,
I mean, I would think so.
because I believe, in my culture, we have a day of judgment where things. It just says stuff about the universe, that things go upside down. The sun goes from the west to the east, not
Yeah.
stuff like this. And I think that happens when probably when two galaxies collide to each other or stuff. Because
Yeah.
who knows, but if it was observed in other galaxies that there are two galaxies, that would eat each other.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
call it, I think they call it cosmic cannibalism, or I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm saying total bullshit, but but I heard one galaxy would eat another and just swallow the other galaxy, and then the smaller galaxy will become dust and clouds.
Yeah, some shit like that. I mean, it's just crazy, to really think
Yeah,
about it and break it down because we don't know nothing, because like I remember, being in school, like they would show us where this little circle planet, and then they got this big giant one from like another galaxy, it's just, and then eventually we just turned into a little dot, a little speck, a little ant, and then here's this big old planet, it's just, I
yeah,
don't know, man. It's weird to really think about that and really think
yeah,
that we're just a little dot and there can be all this other shit going on that we don't even know because we're not even aware of it, because we're too small or something,
yeah. We're too small, and I completely agree with you. And this is a number one reason that I just, it makes me sad to see people being dramatic or over small stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, you have no idea where we are.
Yeah, no
You know,
kidding, man.
like I did not get a cheese on my burger. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, man, we got bigger shit going on. Let's worry about than that.
Yeah, yeah,
No, it's cool to really think about that, you know. But I mean, but for now, I guess we can only really focus on what we can see and what we can progress to, until maybe 1,000 years down the road they can figure that out, because I wish we could do it now, but I always wish, we could, be able to drive around on spaceships and, go and mess around and on different planets and shit. That'd be cool to do, but I don't think in our lifetime that's gonna happen.
yeah. Well, we have bigger problems. When we have a saying that if you want a better world, start with your house.
Yeah.
Like, have your bed done made in the morning, something like this, and it applies everywhere.
Yeah, it
It
does.
does apply everywhere when we have a lot of problems in our society, and we I would, I think it's better to just start with ourselves, and then
Yeah.
see other things.
Yeah, for sure. I like that, man. What
Yeah.
I had another thing for you. What was that planet trio you took? Didn't you take that recently?
Hmm.
That was with what Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn.
Correct.
Yeah, so how did you like capture that? Did you have to do it a certain time of the day? You
um
know?
yeah, you have to wait until the sunset, and actually you cannot see Mercury. You can barely see Mercury with your naked eye. You have to get a long exposure of the sun.
Yeah.
And it's during the I think it's during the civil twilight, where if you take a picture of the sky, you would see red, that gradients into blue.
Oh shit.
And actually, if you see the actual picture, it's not the raw picture is not too far from what I posted, and I added some glow around the planets just so people can see them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a drop of glow that I added in Lightroom, just so people can
Make it
know
more clear.
can
Yeah.
yeah, can notice it.
Yeah, because then they'll
But
know where to look now
yeah,
too.
yeah. So the way I know about these events, I go to websites. And I forgot. I think space.com has it. Has
Yeah,
has it. And there's an astronomical calendar.
that's
And
pretty
I and
cool.
I and I put and I put the stuff on a calendar, and I look. Oh, what's coming this month? Is there a conjunction?
What's
Or
that?
a conjunction is where you have two objects next to each other, like the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn.
Oh, okay.
So this is
Mm,
called a conjunction, or Saturn and the Moon next to each other. That's a
yeah.
conjunction.
Yeah, yeah. So when they're in rotation, they're getting close to each other when they're about to be aligned, kind of deal.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, that's cool that you're able to get that information and then know when to, hey, I need to be outside today so I can take these pictures.
Yeah, yeah. You have, I have that source, and I have Star Map 3D Plus. And Star Map 3D Plus, you can advance the time of the day. And let's say,
Oh.
okay, if if like at 6 o'clock,
Hmm.
where would Venus be? So you can plan your picture. You can plan your location. So
Damn.
it does take some planning. It does take some planning. So you could tell, if if the event would be too low for you to see, you'll probably have to go to a higher place to
Yeah.
look at it.
Well, that's good. They got them resources now. There's all kinds of stuff you can use to help, and you can just do it on your own. You don't have to have a whole crew or nothing. Imagine
Yeah,
like back in the day, before phones and everything, man. They probably just had to go out there with their camera and just look up in the sky.
yeah. Well, yeah. That's the thing, and there were other sources, like in our time. I don't know about your time, but I was born in 1987.
No, I was born 2000.
So I was, when I was at the university, we
Yeah.
did not. I did not have internet access.
Oh, damn.
I did not have Wikipedia. You have a physics problem. You're on your own.
Yeah, you had to look
You
that
have
up
your
in the
book.
dic.
You have your book, and you have your resources that your teacher gives you.
Yeah.
And some of them were horrible, and
Terrible.
you figure it out. It's like nowadays you can look up stuff on your phone. Oh, okay, that's easy.
Yep.
Uh, and at that time, there were books. There were astronomy books that would tell you what time of the year you would see something.
Yeah. You
So,
just had to kind of follow it by the book, and read it and find it, but I see what you mean. So those resources were still there, but they were kind of more time consuming to, do this, plan it, kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah. Well, nowadays you have an app that you just even the space station, it tells you where the space station is gonna come from.
You ever take any pictures of that?
I haven't recently, but I did before, and the problem here, Virginia has a little bit of more cloudy days more than
Yeah.
California. So
What is a Titan?
Titan
Yeah.
is it's the biggest moon of Saturn.
Oh yeah, because they have multiple moons, right? Saturn does.
Yeah, Saturn has 82,
82. Damn.
Jupiter has 79,
Really?
and I think Mars has two.
Really? So
Yeah,
we just have the one then, right?
they have one moon.
Damn, dude, that's crazy that they literally have that many. I mean, do they got water there? I mean, that right?
You
Because
sound jealous. Well, Mars does have ice.
really,
Yeah, there's the ice cap on Mars.
how big is it?
Oh, I have no information how big is it, but it's pretty big.
So they could melt that somehow and put water on there.
Yeah,
Damn, so there had to have been something there before, right? I mean, there had to have been like lakes and
yeah. They
something
they
there.
they find microbial life there. They found like something like bacteria or
Really?
fungus or yeah,
Damn. So there's the aliens right there.
probably.
No,
Those
that's
these are the aliens. I mean, when we had COVID, it was a virus that just changed all our lives.
yeah, dude. That was crazy. That was really crazy. Did it impact you in any way, like with
It did.
your
It did impact me. It
how
impacted
so?
everybody.
How did it impact you personally? I guess,
Well, we
with
didn't we didn't go to work for 3 months. Unfortunately, our salaries were not frozen. Um, it did impact astronomy because everybody wanted to buy a telescope that time. And until today, there is a shortage with telescopes. Until
Damn.
today,
Did you try to buy one too during that time?
I bought one.
You did buy one?
I bought a new one at that time. I bought my 11-inch Telestron at that time. It's pretty big. It's a pretty big optical tube.
How long did it take to get that?
Well, you see that tube. Um, you mean how long it took me to?
To receive it, yeah, did it take a long time?
Well, right before COVID, there is something called NEAF and New York Astronomical Event. It's an annual event that used to be held in New York every year.
Oh,
And during that year, it's like a huge exhibit where they open telescopes and show it to people.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that
okay.
that telescope was a NEAF demo.
Oh shit.
So I got it for way less. I got
Then
it for
what it
like
did.
$1,000 less or so for.
Yeah, damn.
But I
That's
just used it. I just used it twice because it's super heavy.
yeah.
Super heavy.
Do you so like when you go and take those pictures, with the telescopes, you really try to capture like right on the surface of the moon, like all the craters and like can you get like right on the surface with your equipment?
With which
With
equipment?
like on the moon, like can you can capture like, the surface, where like, people that have went to the moon, where they have
No,
walked.
you cannot. You cannot. That's super. These equipment are super small.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2 to 5 meters in diameter. When you look at the craters, when I'm when I'm broadcasting craters or taking pictures of craters.
Yeah.
The average crater is like, no, they range between 40 kilometers to 100 kilometers. And let's say 100 kilometers is almost 60 miles,
Yeah.
and that's the crater.
Yeah. On that
If you
moon.
zoom in, if you zoom in more and more and more, you would see more craters inside the crater. But because those instruments are too small, you cannot see, because of the atmospheric turbulence,
Hmm.
you cannot see, the details would be washed away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even with the largest telescope on Earth, cannot capture them. But when they send surveyors around the moon that float around the moon, they were able to capture them.
Damn. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool then. What would?
and still you could barely see them.
Yeah.
You could barely see them, but you would see like a dot, a bright dot, and then you would see the streaks around it where the wheels or where stuff.
More stuff was imprinted on and stuff. What does moon have? Does the moon have any water on it?
No, not that
Just
I know of. No.
just a lot of craters then.
Yeah, craters, sand, and well, I hear that it does have tectonic plates, so it might have lava underneath, and there are moonquakes too
Really?
that happen.
Damn. How strong are their moon?
Very subtle, very subtle. Not,
Nothing major.
but these are the reason that you would see some craters that have a lot of details,
Yeah.
and some craters that have like faded details because of the earthquakes. And depending on how recent the craters are. Now, the moon itself is like 4.5 billion years old,
Damn. Four,
and
four.
there are craters that are 200 million years old, and those craters would have higher definition than the 2 billion year old crater. So you could tell by the detail if this is an old crater or this is a new crater.
How do they form?
You have asteroids that hit the moon's surface, and some craters you can still see the asteroid in the center of the moon,
Really?
in the center of the crater. Yes, like today, if you look, I might go broadcast a live broadcast today, and during the first quarter phase, there is a very prominent crater called Theophilus.
Hmm.
The middle of Theophilus had three mountains in it, and it has a summit, and that was believed to be the asteroid that hit Theophilus and caused it. There are other
Damn.
craters too. Yeah. So some of these asteroids are still visible.
And they're just big old rocks that have burnt out and they're just sitting there on the moon now.
Yep.
That's crazy, man. How do you tell the age, like on craters? Like how do they know I guess the age and stuff on them?
Well, they sent surveyors to the moon. There are tens of surveyors that has been sent, and they collected samples from craters, from mountains, whatever they could obtain. And in physics, there is a test that you could perform on the atoms of that object.
Hmm.
It's a radioactive test, and that could determine its age.
Really?
Yeah. So, for example, this has been used when in archaeology when they look for you know when they look in sites, like for example the
Yeah.
dinosaur remains. So they do these tests on rocks or remaining bones that they find, and through some sort of radioactivity, they can determine the age
That's
of an object.
insane.
So
That's crazy, dude.
so yeah, and then they use relativity, like, okay, this crater would looks like this, so it must have an age of between
Yeah.
this and that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you look at the surveyors, if you Google the moon surveyors,
Hmm.
you would have plenty of them. They're like a lot that were sent there and collected samples, and they are preserved in various places.
Yeah.
They're still, there are people who were lucky to hold a moon rock.
Is that one of your goals to get one of them?
I wish. I wish. It must be super expensive, but
Yeah.
I wish I would own one day.
Yeah, dude, no shit. Do you have any connect to where you can get one?
I'm hoping that I'll get one. One day. I'll get at least just to hold it, touch it, see what does it feel like.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's got to be a little different, right, than the ones here.
Yeah.
I don't know, something. I mean, and
Yeah.
just for the fact that it was in the moon, out in outer space, it's just has some more value to it.
Hmm.
I mean, they're pretty cool though. I mean, you always see like the space movies and stuff. They always got like the moon. I don't know. They just always got cool stuff. They bring back from the moon or whatever it may be. But I don't know. I like it. I mean, it'd be cool to get a space rock just to hang it up, put it in like a display or some shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, they're probably a lot of money.
Yeah.
Imagine getting a delivery fee from them. How much? How long does it take to get there to the moon? Doesn't it take just a few
The
days?
moon. Well, well, they're gonna send another mission to the moon. There is a mission. I hear that SpaceX is gonna be sending in the first quarter of 2022.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you heard when Elon Musk said he's gonna send a Dogecoin there, like a form of cryptocurrency there, and then
Really?
people went crazy, and then the price of Dogecoin skyrocketed.
Holy shit! Really?
And so that will be a mission, but there will be a manned mission, I think either in 2024 or 2025, not sure. That we will see another manned mission to the moon as
Yeah.
well. When they sent it in 1969, it took about well, the whole mission I remember. And by the way, the National Moon Day is on July 20th.
July 20th. Okay.
Yeah,
Coming up then. Four
yeah,
days.
yeah. And that's when the first man touched the moon surface. But I think it took like 2 days to get there and then 2 days to come back.
That's crazy. That's not even
And
that long at all.
they spent few hours on the moon. I don't remember how long, but they spent few hours there.
Has a lot of people went to the moon? Like a lot of space missions and stuff?
Yeah, the Apollo 11 was not the only mission. There were other missions that I don't remember. But I have a horrible memory, but from
Yeah, me
what I
too.
recall, yeah, there were other manned missions to the moon as well.
Yeah. So then I guess what do? They just kind of collect a bunch of stuff and bring it back here to examine and stuff,
Yep.
learn more on how the moon impacts Earth.
Yeah.
How
And
does it? What is it? Oh, go ahead.
I think there was an interest or a plan to make a base there
Yeah.
to launch further missions to Mars. That's
No.
why, because the gravity in the moon is 1/8, and it has less energy to launch stuff to other parts of space from the moon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense too, to have a big old space station there and just keep going further into space, man. Just got to keep pushing out there.
Yep. Yeah.
Find some way to keep pushing. How does the moon, impact Earth?
How does the moon? Well, there is a form of gravity. It impacts the water level
Yeah,
in the
for
sea.
sure.
In the seas, it has a sort of gravity that when it's high enough in the sky, the sea level would go. Cause tides and different levels of.
When does it make them get the highest, those ties?
Well, when it is right above, because it's like the closest to that region, so if it's right above me, it had that impact on gravity.
Oh, okay.
And there are myths that say the full moon affects the moods of people, and some people get crazy.
Yeah.
And there is no science behind that, no science at all. But I have friends in the ER, and I've seen it on Reddit. I've seen a post on Reddit. People in the ER say the full moon During a full moon, they get a lot of emergencies, like more than usual.
And people
So,
start going crazy and shit.
God knows, it's just it's just stuff that we hear.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's no scientific explanation for that.
Just proof that there is people more higher rates and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and on every full moon, I post a full moon picture. This
Oh,
is
okay. How often do those come?
full moon is once a month.
Once a month? Just whenever? Does it towards the end, the beginning, middle?
Yeah, because the moon month is shorter than the calendar month, so it's usually one day earlier every month. So
Yeah.
in May it was the 27th. In June it was the 26th.
Yeah.
This month is gonna be the 25th
How
of.
did they didn't they make the moon, or not the moon, but the calendar for space? How did that come about? Do you know, like, because that wasn't a long, long time ago, right?
Yeah, that I'm.
I think I remember hearing something about it. I can't remember, but they kind of based off, what was in the sky, to make our regular calendar, but
Yeah, I'm not sure. I
something a long ass time ago.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool though.
yep.
I do have I guess I always ask these to everybody that comes on, just these questions. The first one is, what is a lesson that you kind of learned from business, that you kind of got screwed over, you might have got a bad end of it, like how can you, what kind of advice can you give people to not go through that same thing that you did?
Through bad business. Well, honestly, Adrian, until now, my account is not business affiliated at all, and I don't make money from it.
Well, I mean, even in your career or anything, in a job or whatever it may be.
Hmm. Well, fortunately, from from a business standpoint, because I work at an institution,
Yeah.
I don't think I did a screw up. I mean, I can give an advice.
Yeah.
Just be in a profession where you keep learning and just keep learning. If there's something you like, keep learning about it. A screw up that I did, honestly, I mean, my career started 3 years ago, and um, cannot recall, like, because I mean, and I don't make much money either. But basically, just build something that you like, you
Mhm.
love, and keep learning
Always.
about it. That's
Yeah.
that's that's all I have. I mean, it's something I screwed up. Fortunately, I don't remember. I mean, it's something that screwed up.
Oh, that's good though. I like what you said, just constantly keep learning and learning, you mean that's another, if you stop learning, you're gonna just be bored with life. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
That's investing in yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like that one.
Yeah,
I, wh-
basically, when you learn, you are investing in yourself, and whatever profession you're in, just be in that profession because it teaches you new stuff.
oh yeah, for sure. What are some struggles that you went through, that got you to where you are now?
Struggles that struggle that I go through is, if I can be, well, sometimes I'm not as persistent.
Hmm.
The more persistent you are, the more successful you are. So I mean, because I never took my photography hobby that seriously, um, because I never monetized it, which was, I would not say that was a mistake, because it's a requirement for me to stay legally in the US. It's a long story. I'm here as an immigrant,
Hmm.
and I am being sponsored by an employer, and I cannot be involved with other businesses. So I would say I could not be as persistent with all what I did so far. because I could not monetize those other things, and eventually I'm doing it because I love it. But if I was making money from that, I would definitely do better there. So something that, if you want to consider that a mistake, um, don't sell yourself cheap. Don't put your stuff for free,
Yeah.
because people will steal it and make it theirs. To me, I did not have a choice.
Yeah.
I cannot be involved in a different type of business, other than my employer. Um, but I mean, again, it's very debatable, and I could not be very persistent. Like, if sometimes, oh, there is the moon, should I go shoot? I'm like, I'm not gonna make money from that, and it's kind
Yeah.
of a mentality that's not that good. Um, but I think it will change as soon as I am legally able to.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Is there a date when you're gonna, be fully with it?
About a year from now. Now, one thing too, and I'm losing a lot of business. I cannot make a website to sell pictures.
Yeah.
I can if I want to, but it just has a lot of headache entailed with it, and you
Well,
know, yeah, I don't want to risk. I don't want to risk my legal presence here.
yeah, no, I agree, man. Just, I think you probably just wait, for a year, like you said, and then,
Yeah,
at the same time, though, you can continue to take these cool pictures and put them out there, and then when the time
yeah,
does come, then boom, there
yeah.
you go.
Yeah. But for now, when someone asks me, "Do you have a website to sell prints?"
Yeah,
and I say no, it's just like I lost these people,
yeah,
and unfortunately, I would rather not risk. I mean, I'm not a person. I mean, you take risk, and the higher the risk you take, the better the reward. But there are stuff that you cannot afford risking. So,
yeah. Yeah, in
so
your
that
situation. In
this
your
is one.
situation for sure, man. I don't blame you. I'd like you said, wait the year, keep putting new pictures out there, get them ready, kind of set up how you want your website to look like, when you do, become legal citizen, and then boom, then you can put it out there, and then you'll have everything ready, and then you can start making money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is something I never disclosed to my followers, that, why I'm not selling,
Yeah.
or having a website.
Yeah.
But I just tell them, hopefully soon, hopefully soon.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't blame you, man. It's a long story, like you said, you
Yeah.
know. What was I guess your click moment, when you realized that you wanted to be in the like you wanted to make this moon thing, a thing that you like to do, like the page, like I guess what was your click moment, that you wanted to just continue to take these pictures all the time
Um, it was that first picture of the moon that I
with the
took.
crater, yeah.
Yeah. And then once I started with each picture, I started getting better feedback, and it's just, it's like a domino effect. It was an opener. And before I got my telescope, I got a Canon lens
Hmm.
that was really good. I still have it. Let me show it to you.
Okay.
So what really got me into this was this lens here.
All right there, huh?
When
That's
I
the
when
very
I
one.
when I when I got this lens here, this lens changed my life, and somehow it got more expensive than when I bought it. It's like it's 20-30% more expensive.
Damn.
Um,
Must be a good
but
one.
yeah, and since then I've been investing all my money in this hobby.
Yeah, that was my follow-up question. How do you invest into this?
There are two types. You invest in money, and you invest in time. And with money,
Hmm.
with astrophotography, there are always bigger telescopes,
Yeah, that's for
better
sure.
equipment, better cameras. And on average, I spend $2,000 to $3,000 a year on this hobby.
Yeah.
Their new camera, new gear, a new mount, new telescope, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it. What motivates you to continue to do this all the time?
It makes me really happy. The happiness, the enjoyment, the thing that I love doing keeps me keeps me doing it.
Hell yeah. Another one I had is, where would you like to be 10 years from now?
Where would I like to be? I would like to be a very well-known photographer. Aside to my actual job,
Yeah.
I have a career plan and I have a hobby plan, but I would like to be a very well-known photographer, um, and I would expect to have somewhere between 500,000 to a million
Yeah.
follower and would be verified on Instagram.
Dude, that'd be dope as hell. It's coming though soon because you already got
This,
100,000.
yeah, those are my goals. This is where I see myself 5 to 10 years from now.
We're okay. Do you know, for another one I had was 10 years ago today, where did you think you'd be at right now?
10 years ago, I was 10 years ago. I did not have a vision where I will be. 10 years ago, I did not. I was not thinking of what I'm thinking. I was not thinking.
Yeah.
You're saying 10 years ago. At that time, I was engaged, and I mean, I was looking, to have a family and kids, and this was what I was looking at. Career-wise, I was not thinking much,
Yeah.
and thankfully, I got what I dreamed of, and but I did not have career or hobby or stuff. I had a hobby. I loved to do programming at that time,
Yeah.
and 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 I wanted to do a software, which is something that I did, and this is another long discussion. And yeah, I mean, sorry, I'm just trying to put the ideas together. But yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to have a software to make a software, and I made one.
Oh, so
And
you did that too then.
and I published that software in 2015. At
Damn.
the time that
So you're a bit so you've always been busy, always working on some kind of project, hobby or something,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. And I'm the type, if I'm very introverted, and as long as I'm alone, I have things to work on. So
Yeah, yeah.
people would ask me, "Oh, you don't go out, you just," I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm introverted.
Just like to stick to yourself.
Yeah, and there are a lot of things to do. So I mean, I'm grateful where I am now, but there's still a lot to do.
Yeah, I feel it, man. Well, I guess, did you have anything else you wanted to add or anything before we wrap it up?
No, I thought that it was great. It was a great idea to make this interview with you, and I see a lot of potential in what you're doing,
Thank you.
and you're off to a great start. And I I see a lot of success coming for your brand.
Well, thank you, man. I
And
appreciate
keep
that.
up keep up the good work, and I look forward to seeing you wherever you want to be.
Oh yeah, man. Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. I feel the same with you. I mean, you're already getting all these results and shit off of it. So obviously you're doing something right. You're going in the right direction for sure. And your goals, your plan you had, it sounds pretty, I think that's doable for sure, in the next 5, 10 years, So I mean, just stay at it and keep doing it, man. I'm down to do another one of these podcasts, say a year from now, and just see where we're at.
Yeah, yeah, hopefully. And I look forward to that. And then we will look back at the first interview and where we were.
Yeah,
And
hell
then,
yeah.
when I see that, you had your business, is growing, and you have tens of thousands of followers, and,
Yeah.
you made a name. So, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Sounds good to me, man.
hmm All right, Adrian.
All right, man. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, man. We'll see you.
See ya.